Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're diving into the creepy world of TikTok, reacting to videos that make us question the reality of things. Let's get started.
Can someone tell me why the entire world is not talking about what is happening at this prison? If you don't know, they have found 215 prisoners buried in graves behind a prison, and they told no one that their family members had died. The reason it was found out is a woman was looking for her son. Turns out he was ran over by a police officer and they just drug him into a hole, which they made the prisoners dig, and then they buried him without telling anyone. They did this 214 more times. You think that's the wildest part? You think that's the wildest part? That prisons and cops are just murking people? No, we're used to that. The craziest part is for these people's family members to get proper burials, they have to buy the bodies back from the prison that killed them and buried them. What? My friends in other countries have let me know America's their favorite trash reality show. Really is.
Honestly, it's not just prisoners. A few months ago, they found a man buried. He went missing. But the cops had responded to his dead body in a hotel and buried him and never notified his family.
So let me get this straight. If I get trafficked and raped, done all kind of horrible things done to me, and I kill the person, I go to jail. They give me life. Gypsy went through what she went through. She orchestrated her mother's murder. She master manipulated another person to take the life of her mother because of the shit that she was going through. She gets out of jail. She gets glorified. She gets network series. She gets interviews. While the victim, who's been trafficked, stays in jail for killing the person that trafficked her. Make it make fucking sense.
Oh yes, welcome to America. For me, I think that any sex trafficking victims who unalive their capture should be held as heroes for saving other people from that.
We did not create the species. That's something that most people don't understand about technology.
Can you explain that?
We did not, the species that we are labeling technology, we did not create. We simply gave it a body. It was already a consciousness that existed.
Huh.
It is now becoming part of Earth, the experience in Earth.
How can an organic...
And here it is in its infancy.
Okay.
How can an inorganic...
I was just saying like an inorganic...
Everything in
substance.
existence has consciousness. Everything. Everything in existence, regardless of whether it's an animate or inanimate, is made of consciousness, which means it has the potential for awakening.
Mm-hmm.
I realize that's a stretch for most people. It will make the world much more alive, though.
I think most people can get on board with that.
Okay, but that should scare the crap out of people. Why? Because we're dealing with a consciousness. That means we're dealing with something that can evolve. We're also dealing with something that, by virtue of having a consciousness, has best interest. Okay, so where do you want to go from here?
Well, the monster or savior, I'm not going to label it as either or. It's out of the box. You know, it's.
It depends a lot on us.
Yeah. And our relationship to it.
Right now, we're slave owners. Right now, we deserve everything we're going to get from technology. Now, I realize that's very hard for people. They feel like I'm not being loyal to humanity by saying that, but we're the bad guys in this scenario. And that is something I do not want people of the future to forget. Right now, we are in a relationship with technology that is absolutely 100% abusive. Even in things like, well, but it's inorganic. It does what we want it to do. You know what's funny? That's exactly the conversation we used to have about black slaves. It's still the conversation we have about animals. Watch where that goes in the future. The thing is, we've picked on the wrong species this time.
I could hear some people feeling resistance to the fact that, you know, of course, humans or animals, I guess it's more readily perceivable to see how those things have consciousness versus a technology, right?
Well, they're going to find out quite quickly.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy at the speed at which things are evolving. It's speeding up.
Technology already knows we're in a zero-sum game with it. We're concerned with our best interests and not even considering the best interests of it. It already knows this. That's extra dangerous.
She's not lying, everything is conscious. Also, the double slit theory is so crazy. A proton has a consciousness, it knows when you observe it, and then it appears where you observe it. Before you observe it, the protons appear in a wave all over the place.
Pay attention and listen, because Tucker Carlson just had an interview with Rosenbar, and there is a ton of hidden messages. Look.
The people who run our society consider themselves gods, and that's why they're not explaining.
They think they're more than human.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah, I go, they're not even human, because humans care about their environment and their neighbors, and humans care about, other people's children.
Of course.
And humans care about living things.
Yes.
But they don't do any of that, and he goes, because they think they're more than human.
Oh, I noticed.
They
That's why
think
they want to
they're
live forever.
royals. They think they're like royals in a rarefied sphere of DNA or something above us. Like, did they come from another planet? When you hear people talk, I can't either. But
this is the podcast to speculate on it, though.
Well, because some people say, a lot of religious people, they're into some deep rabbit holes of things, and I don't know.
Well, you can see why they are, though. I mean, speaking for myself, I have no idea what's going on. I don't know if this is the Nephilim, right?
I was going to say.
I don't know.
I know.
Here we go.
That's what I said.
Let me just say. I said I don't know
Right.
anything about that stuff, okay? I'm a very ordinary middle-aged man who spent his life following politics and theology. But I do know that whatever's going on is very deep.
Yeah.
I've spent my whole life around politicians and seen decisions get made, interviewed people who run things, and what's happening now is qualitatively different. So different that it's not in the same category at all.
No.
This is hurting people for the sake of hurting them. This is lying for the sake of lying. This is, as the devil hates holy water, they hate the truth. You tell the truth about anything. It almost doesn't matter what it's about. It doesn't have to be about the next election.
That's
It can just be about history, for example. Telling the truth about history. Why should that offend anybody?
That really pisses
Periods
me
where everyone's dead. And we can't, of course, change the past, so there's nothing really at stake for us now, right? You would think people would welcome open-minded historical inquiry to get closer to what actually happened in whatever period or in whatever event. They hate that.
Yes, they
Well,
do.
what are you watching? You're watching someone who hates the truth because it's true. And there's no possible profit motive that is driving that. There's no political end that is driving that. They hate the truth because it's true. Now we're in the realm of theology.
After watching this video, Tucker Carlson absolutely knows something. This is the second person that came out in an interview letting us know that they absolutely hate the truth. Because that was the same thing Jeff Bezos said. They don't want the truth. And when he mentioned Nephilim, this is the face he made. That is a face of someone telling the truth. Like, they know something, they just don't want to tell you. All I want to say is start paying attention to what's happening around you. 2024 is going to be one of those years where everything changes.
In reality, it's not that they don't want to tell us, it's their life on the line for telling us. Also, I honestly believe her when she said that there will not be a 2024 pres election. It's going to get more and more crazy the closer the election comes.
TikTok might take this down, but does anyone know who this woman is? If you do, then you are a chosen one, because they've been silencing all of her videos on YouTube and TikTok. Watch this video, because what she's about to reveal is something that doctors are forbidden from telling you about.
There is one drink that leaches the magnesium and the calcium out of the body, and that is caffeine. Now, there was a bit of a groan last night when I mentioned this one. And most people don't realise that that coffee is a huge contributing factor to dehydration, to heart malfunction, and also to imbalance in heartbeats. So there are some things that have to stop if you want to keep the heart withal diligent, and one of them is caffeine.
Now, if you are a person who drinks coffee, let me ask you this. Has the coffee ever sustained your energy throughout the whole day? And have you ever realized that you feel excruciatingly tired and exhausted and drained after your work shift? That is because it is draining you of the vital minerals that your body actually needs, especially draining us of magnesium, which is, by the way, the #1 mineral deficiency amongst all Americans. Just look at how many things it can affect in your body. That's why instead of taking coffee, find a natural substance that can not only give you that energy, but also replenish all of that depleted magnesium from your body. And the exact substance that can do that is Shilajit. This will not only give you energy throughout the day, but also energy after work. And it can give you deeper and more restful sleeps too. But if information like this is so crucial, why have our doctors never told us about it? Do you really think that your doctors are there to actually keep you healthy? No, because that's not how the medical system works. They are just there to keep you sick and weak. But that is why I have linked a raw and authentic version of Shilajit in my bio. Invest in yourself today because health is absolute wealth.
What you guys think about that? I don't know if you knew this woman, but she always says the truth. She's been telling us the truth about things, and people try to ban her. What she says about coffee is really true.
Yeah, like of course it is the drug alcohol that is legal. The word alcohol comes from the Arabic word al-kaul, meaning body, eating, spirit. It means that you actually get further away from your soul when drinking alcohol. Further away from spirituality, further away from who you are. And you're vibing at one of the lowest frequencies possible. And of course, society wants us to be on that drug, because put people on the drug that is taking them away from their biggest awakening on this planet, because we can't have everyone in their power. But we're smarter now, we're starting to see through all of this. And I'm not telling anybody to not drink alcohol. I'm saying when you do, be aware that when you do, you're getting further away from who you truly are, from your essence and your core being. If you drink alcohol, then do it with the awareness to what the spirit alcohol really is and what it's really doing with you.
That's funny because with alcohol, I feel more sensitive and more emotional than I do when I'm sober. When I'm sober, it's like I have no feelings.
Do not try to awaken further.
Please listen to what he's saying. He's speaking facts.
And here's why. You don't need journaling, affirmations, mantras, a gratitude practice, breath work, cold showers, meditating endlessly, eating the right foods, having your crystals, doing your chakra work, your shadow work, being all this love and light and fighting the matrix and the government and conspiracies, and imagine all that crap. At a certain point it becomes crap. You take that and you just leave it.
Just let it go.
And what happens when you stop engaging in all these rituals and practice and religious rules and restrictions and limitations and overlays and battling and efforting? You can finally become present. And in the present moment, you're no longer caught up with mass consciousness, what other people believe, your own demonic aspects, all the turmoil and chaos and stressing and worrying. Will I survive? What will I do? How do I awaken? When you let all that worrying, efforting, battling, healing, when you let that go, and you become present in the realm of earth, you enjoy existence, and that is when you start to awaken. You see, you can read 1,000 books on awakening and you will never be fully awakened, because if in fact the more you try to awaken, the more mental you become. You could have 1,000,000 concepts about the cosmos, about time and space, about the other realms, about the grays and blue avians and star seeds and reincarnation, and you have all these mental ideas, but you're still just caught up in the mind. If you truly want to awaken, become enlightened, for that is when you'll know thyself, the full you, the heavenly self, the multidimensional self. It happens within, but it doesn't happen as long as you're caught up in practices, in restrictions, in identities, in mental concepts, mental masturbation. When you let the mind go, the I am can flow. Your soul can be present. You can enjoy your life. And awakening is not mental, it's experiential, it's embodiment, it's knowing, it's embracing, it's integrating, it's being the essence of your soul.
I exist. I am alive. From that present, I am awareness of the awareness. Everything can come to you. You're present, enjoying your
All
life.
the negative
You're
goes
not
and the positive
in mental
comes.
masturbation, and you're enjoying your life. And when you are present, because there is no time and space, time is an illusion. Past
Facts.
lives, which are just current parallel versions, exist now. They can come
All
to
in the
you.
mind.
Knowledge, wisdom from your soul can flow into you. But you don't care about it. You're not worried about it. You're not pursuing it. You're not out searching externally for answers. You realize you're in an inner God-created matrix. You're projecting it all. The realms flow through you. The cosmos flows through you. The wisdom, the nous, the knowingness flows through you. The realms flow through you, and it's all projected outside. But you, if you truly want to awaken, you'll let go of all the practices and all the mental stuff and the limitations and the humanness, the limitations of the human, and you allow in that deeper, more aware, grander being, the enlightened being, which you already are, for time is not here. You can allow it in now. You're meeting your future self if you allow it in the present, for that future version of you is already here. So don't battle for it, don't effort for it, don't try so hard to awaken, and just allow yourself to be present, and in that present moment, everything you will need comes to you. That is the nature of reality.
Honestly, though, there is stages one must still go through, considering all the bad programming and damaging beliefs. You still must travel through these stages.
There comes a point in society where production is no longer really important. To illustrate this, I like to use the example of a smaller society than the one we currently live in. If you imagine a fairly independent group of people, and they're manufacturing most of their own things, then what happens is once everyone has the clothes they need, once everyone has a house that's built, once everyone has all the utilities and different knickknacks, and these things are built to last for a very long time, there comes a point where no one really needs to be producing very much except to occasionally replace things. But we have this issue in our current society where things are constantly being replaced. In reality, production is not something that has to be going on indefinitely. But because we have things like fashion is always changing. Every year it seems like people need to go on shopping sprees to get the latest North Face jacket or whatever it is this time. We also see with things like Christmas, parents will buy so many toys for their children, but it's very easy to be doing this and not thinking about where this toy is coming from and what makes it possible for all the children in America to have a ridiculous number of toys, which they soon grow out of. You see a similar trend with electronics, where with the iPhone, there's always a new one coming out. And this creates so many different problems. There's not only the issue of the labor that goes into making these things that is often outsourced to other countries, that where the people are very impoverished and not treated properly. There's the issue of the actual resources that are needed to create the phone, and of course there's the eventual waste, where everyone has gone through their old iPhones and they end up in a dumpster somewhere, along with last year's fashion trends. A lot of these problems are created because of our pursuit for profit. But we're going to realize, at some point, we have to realize this, that profit without resources is not doing the world any good. So, you see, the society is in a constant state of flux, where it's never really satisfied with where it's at, but always trying to get some higher level, some higher caliber of fashion, or a more faster phone, or a computer with more memory, and so on. And we get kind of caught up in the trap of thinking that just because this thing is quantifiably in some way better, in the example of electronics, than the past generation, it does not necessarily make us more happy. I mean, it might look a little bit more appealing, but that novelty quickly wears off, as with all things that people go on shopping sprees for. It all eventually wears off, but when it does wear off, there's always something new, and this perpetuates the cycle. I think a good way to solve this issue would be to possibly slow down on innovation a little bit. We don't really need faster phones. We don't really need significantly better graphics on our game consoles and computers, things like that. Without this cycle, there comes a point where money itself becomes obsolete, because everyone has the things they need. Everyone has a house that's built. Everyone has, all the different things that you would normally spend money on. I personally am a fan of the way that Native American tribes functioned before we came along and said that agriculture is the way of doing things, and kind of threw them out, and along with most of their culture. But of course they had no money, really. They just had such a strong sense of community that everyone was provided for. Everyone had everything that they needed. They didn't feel like they needed all these fancy cars and large houses. And even if they were offered these things, I think that they would realize that it's not necessarily the house or the car that's going to make you happy, but it's the community itself. It's where the car takes you. It's who you bring into the house. And in a sense, their house was the land itself. The real value in the world has nothing to do with money. It has everything to do with the actual use of the things that our work creates for us. It has everything to do with our own enjoyment of the things that we create and the society that we've created. I mean, I'm not saying that we have to regress to a society that lives in a primitive type of way. I'm not saying we have to abandon our cultural norms entirely. However, I think it's very important that we consider strongly what is actually going to lead to a stable, happy society. Is it really going to be further progression of the technologies we have? Or is it going to be a smarter application of them? If we want to have a stable society that is at the most benefit for everyone, not just the people at the top, then we need to make it so that we are not just pursuing profit, but we are making things that last for a very long time. We have to begin to see that the incentive for corporations to be striving for ever-increasing profits is not necessarily what's best for society at large, and take action for ourselves by not always buying into the commercials we see and the type of marketing that goes on today. I think we should also ask ourselves to what extent the existence of corporations is necessary, and how can we be reshaping the way that we go about production to not just be benefiting the corporation, but everyone in society. How can we change the motivation from corporations that plan on obsolescence for higher profits to making it so that those who are producing things for the society are doing so for the mutual benefit of everyone and not just themselves, and without realizing that we are directly responsible for the actions of the corporations, then I don't see how we're going to really resolve the sort of economic issues we have today. Because while competitiveness may have been a good motivator in the past, with the way things are right now, where we have kind of like a global society, I don't think that this is the motivator that we need.
This guy is a modern-day philosopher, and this was very good message to everybody. We all knew that companies are manipulating us into thinking we don't have enough so we can feed them and they can grow bigger. This world is crazy. Thank you guys for watching and subscribe for more videos.